Hi, all. Good morning. So in last class, we are looking about our constructor block. So just quickly we recap. So under the class, so we have seen under the our class, we can define our variable constructor and method. So at least we can define under the our class. So we are learning OOPS programming. So Java is a object oriented programming. Everything will be considered will in the form of the object. So under the source file, we will write anything like our class interface or enum. So dot Java extension will be there. So we will compile our program. So dot class file will be generated and this file will be executed by our JVM. So under the JVM, we are having our class loader, our memory area, and our execution engine, and it will communicate with OS, and our OS will communicate with our hardware, our CPU, RAM, hard disk. So we will write a class under the our source file, and under the source file we can define our variable constructor method inner class interface. Inside class we can define our interface enum. So this thing we can define inside the class. So why we write the class? So for defining our user defined data type, if you want to define our data is per our requirement as well as method behavior, so we can write the class. So Java is a object oriented programming. So object oriented programming language promote the modularity, reusability, maintainability, extensibility. So we write the class. So we will define some variable constructor method. So we have seen, so over the class level we can use some modifier. So public modifier we can use, and class level to more modifier we can use our final and abstract. This modifier also we can put in front of class. So final will prevent you for inheritance, and abstract will force you for inheritance. So if final is prevent you for inheritance, that means we have to create the object with the help of has a relationship. Always you have to use new keyword for creating the object. So string is a final class. So we cannot modify anything in our string class, because string is a final class. We cannot perform inheritance. Always we have to create the object. Abstract class. So abstract class is a partially implemented, unimplemented class. We called abstract class. So we cannot create the object of abstract class. Keep your mind, if you want to use the feature of abstract class, so always we have to perform inheritance. So we write the class, then we create the object. We create the our object, and object will communicate to each other. So we call the object collaboration. We call the object collaboration. So our program will be executing in the form the object, because we are writing our program in the form of the class, and object will be created. Java is a object based programming language. So for we will create object, always we create the object and object will communicate. So C language is a procedure language. So we write everything in the different function, but our file in the single file, multiple file we can write. So our code will be executed. But in the Java we write the classes and we create the object, and on object will be communicated in the sequentially. So currently our object is communicating sequentially. So we are having two type of relationship. One is a where two object can communicate with the help of inheritance, and another one is a has a. So where two object will be communicated with the help of new keyword, where we have to create the object, one class object we have to create it in another class object. So it's called our has a relationship. So our association, composition, aggregation, it comes under our has a relationship. So how to object relationship, uh, we are defining if it will be strong relationship or weak relationship. So accordingly this terminology will be there. So object will be communicated with the help of inheritance or with the help of has a relationship. So in a real time manner we will create our application in the form of layers. So our object will be communicate, all layers object will be communicate. So that time we will see how our object are calling to each other. So first we have to understand our OOPS principle. So then we will understand our layering approach, because in the application levels always we have to think in the form of the layers. It is our presentation layer, it is our service layer, it is our persistence layer. So all the technology framework, when we are writing the application, so we have to think in the form of the layers. So just we are understanding first language fundamentals, then we will use this language fundamentals in our real time application. So we will write in the form of the layer. So we are learning the class. We have seen variable, constructor, method, and yesterday we have seen a block. So under the variable we defined our data. So data will be two types. One is a primitive, another one is a reference or non-primitive. So under the variable, we will define our data. It could be primitive or non-primitive, and with the help of constructor, we can instantiate the object. That means if we want to initialize something, so we can do with the help of constructor. So currently we have just instantiated some values whenever we are creating the object. So constructor is calling and we are instantiating our object. That means our variable is taking some values. So we called our object is instantiated. That means our object is ready. So if our object is depending on another object, like yesterday we have seen we have created one student object. So under the our constructor demo we have passed this student object. So whenever we are creating this constructor demo object, so it is depend on our student object. So if a student object is ready, so whenever we are creating our constructor object, so first student object will be there and we are passing this object under our constructor object. So both the object are creating. So first student object is creating, then our constructor object is creating. So it will be a ready object. So all that things inside the object, so we can use it is our ready object we can say. So with the help of constructor, we have to define our object should be under our ready state. So it is a very important because uh, we are learning. Currently we are learning, we are doing all that things manually. So we are creating the object and we are calling the method, but we work over the project and we use the framework. So object creation responsibility will be taken care by our framework. Spring framework will taking care object creation responsibility as well. So object creation responsibility will be taken care by our framework, defining the scope of the taking care by our framework. So just we have to focus over our business logic. So we write the method and under the method we write the business logic. So in our application level, lot of classes will be there. So all the classes will be communicated to each other, and all classes object we have to created. So when we are creating a multiple class object, so we have to write the source code for writing the object, for creating the object, and for communicating with the object. So when two objects are communicating, they are having some relationship under the hazard relationship. Sometimes it will be a strong relationship, sometimes it will be weak relationship. So two object will be dependent, two object won't be much dependent. They will be independent. When time comes, then they will communicate. So all that things that is taken care by our framework, object creation and object communication. So Spring framework, we are having concept of dependency injection. So constructor will be used for dependency injection. So when object are dependent, so it will be under tightly coupled. So we have to perform our constructor dependency injection whenever object is loosely coupled. So we will call our setter injection. So when time comes, I will explain. But keep your mind, we are putting the effort. We are creating the object and we are communicating the object. So at framework level, it will take care by our framework. So we don't have to take care. So mostly we have to focus over our business logic. Business logic means we are doing something as per our client requirement. So client will give you some requirement and we will create the application. So accordingly we will write our business logic. So for writing the business logic, we use a method. So we have seen method. What is the method? So under the method, we can write a collection of statements. So we can write statements inside our method. So constructor will responsible for instantiation the object. So we can whenever object is creating, we have to initialize with our whatever the variable inside the object. It could be primitive or reference, it should be initialized. So object will be ready state. So keep your mind. So variable we can define the data, constructor we can instantiate the object, and under the method we can write the logic, and one block is there. So block, we are having static block and non-static block. So under the block we can initialize something, but we don't write the block much. So we don't have to bother about the block, but block will be part of the our class. So at least you will see variable, constructor and method for writing the class. So your class related concept should be strong, because everywhere we have to write the class. So under the JDBC technology, we will write the class, but our class will be capable for communicating with database. For servlet programming we have to write the class. So our class will be capable for communicating with our browser, our client. So client could be anything like our browser, like our some third party tool, Postman, or some third party application. Whenever two application are communicating, so our class will be the servlet class. So just everywhere we have to write the class, just a responsibility will be changed. So as per the responsibility, as per the layer, our class name will be different. So sometimes we will tell our class is a pojo class, sometimes we will tell our class is a persistence class, our class is a presentation layer class, our class is a bean. If we are using our, we are writing our class in our spring framework. So everywhere we have to write the class, just a name will be changed. So we will see. So we are defining the class, we are defining the variable under the class, we are defining the constructor and few modifier we can use. So three modifier we called modifier as well as access specifier: private, protected, public, default. So this modifier we can use. So it is a modifier as well as access specifier. It is defining the accessibility. So Java is a secure programming language where we can define the accessibility of the variable of the method. So in front of a method, we can use same access specifier. Apart from that, we can put final, we can put static, we can put volatile, we can put transient. So this is a keyword where we can use in front of the variable. So final we can put in front of method as well. Static we can put in the front of method, and native we can put in front of method, and strict FV we can put in front of method. So variable we can defining our data method for defining our business logic, and constructor we can define our instantiation. So we can put our constructor as a public, and we can put the constructor as a private. So just constructor scope will be within the class only. So our constructor over in front of constructor we can put this two access specifier. It could be public or it could be private. So if you are putting public, so we can create the object of class anywhere. If you are putting the private, so we can create the object within the class only. Same class object we can define within the class only. So usually we don't write a private constructor. We write private constructor only uh, case whenever we are defining our class is a singleton class. So singleton is a one kind of design pattern. 100% this question is going to ask at the interview. What is the singleton class and how you write the singleton class and what is the benefit of the singleton class? So I will explain this thing whenever I will explain about our layerings. Whenever we are creating any application, so we think in the form of the layers: business layer, presentation layer, persistence layer. So that time we have to follow this design pattern. So this particularly keyword we can use in front of our constructor. So variable level we can use final, static, volatile, and method level we can use this particularly keyword. So all the keyword we called a modifier. So public, private, protected, default is a modifier as well as access specifier. So we can say it is a access modifier. but final static native, this will be just a modifier. This is modifying something in front of the method. So always final will prevent for something. So final class you cannot perform inheritance. Final variable will be value will be fixed. You can't change. Final method you cannot perform overridden. So whenever two classes under our easy relationship under the inheritance, so final will prevent you for inheritance. Final class and final method will be prevent you for overriding. You cannot override the method. So final will prevent you and abstract will force you. So abstract class will force you for inheritance. So anybody want to use the feature of our class, anybody want to communicate our class object, so we cannot create object directly, but first we have to perform inheritance, then we can use the feature of the particular class. So if we want to force for inheritance, so our class should be abstract class. So this kind of thing you will face in the interview. Why we write the final class? Why we write the abstract class? What is the purpose of the abstract class? What is the purpose of the final class? So we are going to see in the interview. You will face this kind of question. So we have to give not a big answer. We have to give some realistic answer, because if you give some answer, so they will ask you how this concept you have used in your project. So your answer should be specific. So we will write some use case, so I will explain. So these things we have used here, so accordingly you have to explain. So just we have seen about the class. So today we will looking our one concept is a interface and enum. So under the word source file we can define the class. So class will be final, abstract. This concept we have seen. So we are having one more concept is called interface. So under the interface we can define our variable. So variable will be public, static, final. So this variable we can define, as well as our abstract method we can define under the interface. So if we are writing any interface, so for example I am writing, this is my interface. So we will defining one variable, and it should be initialize. So this is we have to define like that, it should be initialized under the interface. Our variable should be initialized, and our method is a show method, which is a unimplemented method. So whether we are defining public, static, final or not, it will consider like that if we are putting variable inside our interface, and our method will be abstract method. If you are not defining, so it will be considered like that. If we are defining or not, so it will be considered like that. So our compiler will add this particularly keyword. So under the interface we can write our unimplemented method is called abstract method. So whether we are writing or not, so our compiler will consider like that it will add this keyword after the compilations. So unimplemented method will be there under our interface. So we cannot define the implemented method. So under the interface, all the method will be unimplemented. So already we have seen under our abstract class. So abstract class. So first we are defining the class. Then we are defining the abstract class. Then we are defining the interface. So under the class, our method will be concrete. That means it will be fully implemented. So if we are writing any method, so body should be there. If we are defining some method, so it will be fully implemented. But our abstract class will be partially implemented. So we can say 0 to 100%. So it will be partially implemented. So it might be all method will be implemented, or some method will be implemented, some are not implemented, or no method will be implemented. So we can call 0 to 100%. Either it could be 100% or 0%, or some 50%. So some method is implemented, some method is not implemented, but interface is 100% unimplemented method will be there. So JDK 1.8 onward, we can define the default method as well as a static method inside the interface. So we will see when we will learn our Java 8 feature, but till the just we have to understand our interface is a 100% unimplementation will be there. So class will be 100% implemented and interface will be 100% unimplemented. Just we are defining the our method. We are not providing the implementation. So there is some purpose. So class is a purpose for defining the user defined data type. So we write some we define some variable and we write the logic with the help of class, and we create the object, and object will be communicated. So for defining our business logic, we use the class, and anything we are defining, and it would be common feature for the all the object we are defining anywhere. So we are, if we want to force that anybody want to use my feature, so the first they have to perform inheritance because it is a common for all. So some reusable code, some common code, some repetitive code we don't have to write in the all the classes. Instead of writing in single class, and we can perform the inheritance and we can reuse. So we use the abstract class. So mostly abstract class purpose is a reusability with the help of inheritance. So I want to force, if anybody are using my feature, so first they have to perform inheritance. So when we use the inheritance concept, when we want to perform reusability, so our object based language promote reusability. So how we are achieving the reusability? With the help of inheritance. So some common feature which is we can use in the all the object. So we have to define this common feature in one separate class and we have to reuse with the help of inheritance. So in this case, we have to write abstract a class. Without abstract a class, that means we can create multiple object. But if we put a abstract a keyword, so we cannot create the object if we want to use. So we have to perform inheritance. So abstract will promote you or force you for inheritance. Then after that interface comes. So we can do same thing where in the abstract class we can define 100% unimplemented class. So we can define the abstract class. So why interface will come? So interface purpose will be different. Abstract class purpose will be different because it is a class, it is an interface. So just we have to understand the purpose because the interface is a meaningful purpose. If this question will be asked in the interview, so they let you know what is the purpose of the interface. So you have to be tell like that. So interface mostly interface purpose for providing the specification, for providing the some rules. So we use the interface. So currently we are just looking some syntax of interface, but in real time application or we our interface will be used for creating the contract or interface. So I will show you what is the specification part, what is our contractor related part. So first we will see our interface related uh, syntax, then we will see what is the meaning of the interface. So just we write one interface. So it is our syntax of interface. I am just writing one particularly variable, and we are writing what unimplemented method. So I want to use this interface. So first, what will we do? So first, we have to implement this interface. So interface will be implemented and the class will be inherited. So whenever we want to use our interface, so we have to perform inheritance. So I will implement. I want inheritance. I want to perform inheritance. So we have to use one more keyword implement. So first we have to implement this unimplemented method. So this is a unimplemented method and we will provide some implementation. So this is my implementation. So just write some business logic. So we are putting some. So this is our syntax of interface. So ID level, you can see the symbol of I in front of class. So inside the interface, we are defining unimplemented method, and whenever we are writing some variable, so it should be initialized, otherwise we will get a compile time error. So we have to initialize. So whether we are writing public static final or not, so it will be considered like that. So always we have to perform our constant value inside our interface. So and unimplemented method will be there. So anybody want to use this interface, so first we have to implement. It is not a inheritance, it is a implementation. Implementation means first we have to defining the our class. So what will be we see, our interface will force you for if you are using interface, so your method name and method signature, so whatever the method name and method signature means our method name plus parameter we called method signature. So our method signature should be same. So we have put on some interface. So we have put on some interface, and whenever anybody are implementing with the help of this interface, so our method signature, method name should be same. So for example, if we are printing our wedding card, so first we will create the some template. So we have to implement it anything over this template. So we will define some area and we will implementing. So just we called one a contract. So with the help of interface, we create the contract. So I will explain with this some example. First we will understand the syntax. So this is our class, this is our interface. So our method name will be fixed. So in the real time application, so we use the interface for creating the our contract or specification. That means our method name will be decided earlier, implementation will be done later, but our method name will be decided earlier. We don't have to bother for defining our method name, our high level, our architecture level. Our method name will be defining by our architecture level. We don't have to bother. We just have to implement. We do just write the business logic. So with the help of interface, we will get dynamic polymorphism. So I will explain what is a dynamic polymorphism. Our upcoming concept is our OOPS principle. So we will see dynamic polymorphism. So for understanding the dynamic polymorphism, first we have to see the syntax of the interface. So this is our interface where unimplemented method will be there. First we have provide the implementation, then we will create the object. So public is a, we can call this method anywhere. Static is a our our method will be loaded at loading time. So our JVM will load this class at loading time, and this is our main method. So main method will be call. So I will access this particularly variable with the help of this is a static. So we can access directly, and interface we cannot create the object of interface, but we can create the object of the implemented class. So what will I do? So I can create my implementation class object. So this will be our object. So our this is our class. We are creating the object with the help of new keyword. But this particularly method name first we have defining under the our interface. So this is a implementation of the one method. So we have called our implemented class method. So this will be executed. Then we can define our method as well. So I am writing my method, print a method. So this print method will we can call, so we can see. So what will be happening? We are having one interface, and under the interface we are defining some method. So we are implementing this method. So it is called our interface implementation. So it is the things about our interface. This is our interface syntax. Then what we can write this syntax? So we can create the our implementation class object, and we can hold this object under our interface. So under the left side we can write the interface, and you will see this show method will be there only. The print won't be there, just show will be there, because we are holding left side our interface related reference variable. So only we will see whatever the method inside the our this particularly interface. So only show will be there. So we can write this syntax as well. So left side we are defining the parent class. So object will be created, and it is having both the method, but we just access only our a interface related method, because our reference variable is a parent class. So our controller will call this show method, but at runtime our controller will jump for implementation. At runtime our controller will jump for implementation. It is called dynamic binding. So dynamic binding means we are calling our parent class, but our controller is jumping for our implementation class. It is called dynamic binding. It will taking decision at runtime. So this is this particularly syntax we have to use. So till now, what we have seen, we have seen our class related object and class related reference variable. We can define our parent class or parent interface reference variable as well. So left side we can define as a reference variable our parent class or interface. So if we talk about the our purpose of the interface, so with the help of interface, listen carefully this thing, it is a very important. So we can provide some specification. We can provide some specification or contract. So when we will work any project, so we don't write a class directly, don't write business logic directly. First we write the interface. So under the interface, we just define our method name. Our specification part will be there. So just we will provide our method name. So implementation will be happening later. But what will be our method name? What will be our request parameter? What will be our response? So we will define under the interface, and our interface will be communicated everywhere within the application or in the web services. So we will expose anything. So we create the interface technically, our coding level, and we will use this interface method name under our documentation. So just we are defining something inner logic, whatever the what will be our source code inner logic, it will be created later. But for definition, we are defining under our interface. So interface will give you some contract. So it will provide some rules and regulation. So for example, in our real life, our government is giving some rule, just we have to follow. So there is one rule under our if we are riding bike or we are driving any car, so there is some rule. So always we have to drive our car left side over the road. So this is a one rule which is defining by our Indian government. So all the car company, so our car company like BMW, Mercedes, Maruti, Honda, Hyundai, whatever the car company, so they will design their car like that. So steering will be right side. So our car will be running over the left side always. So they will implemented their car for Indian government rule or Indian travels rules. So where all the car company, bike company will be designing their vehicle like that. They are following some rules. So they have given some specification, and our car companies, multiple companies are following the rule. So same thing with the interface in our coding level, in our application level, our technically our coding level. This concept is not for only for Java, any programming language. So they will provide some contract. So under the contract, we will provide some definition only. So technically, we will defining some definition only. So under the interface, we will define just our definition. So for example, first, if we take the example of the our car, so we will provide some rule under the our car interface. So I am creating one interface. Is the name is a car. So uh, some specification part will be there like gear, like speed. So just we have defined this specification. So this is the rules I have defined. So any company will create the software or anything. So they have to follow my rule. So what technically they have to follow? So whenever they are creating something in their software, so they have to be implemented my method. So method name will be fixed. So likewise, our Indian government had defined some rules or car company are following. So same thing I want to develop with our software level. So in our software designing, so lot of specification will be given by our Java community, our Sun microsystem. Earlier it is our take over by Oracle company. So they will provide some specification. Specification means a what? Specification means a what? Some rules and regulation. So in the Java, we give some rules and regulation in the form of interface. So what is the meaning of the rules and regulation? Our method name, variable name, it is a given by our community. All the vendor will be implemented this particularly method. They can't use their own name. Always they have to use this name. So our technically we have to define interface for providing the specification. We have to bounded our vendor with our business logic name. Our method name will should be fixed. We can't change. So any car company like for example BMW. Another company is Maruti. Another company is Honda. So this is our specification part. So we have defined under our gear. So gear speed. We have defined some specification under the interface. So I have defined my rule. So all of the company have to follow my rule. So first they have to implement. So they have to be implement. So method name will be fixed. So all the company will we have implemented community rule. So they will implemented their community rule. So name will be same. So if they are using some rule, so in the you can see, so all the laptop having some our C type port or our aux port or our charger. So all the laptop, all the machine is having our same point. So it is called some organization has provide some specification. They have provide some rules. So all the laptop company has follow the rules. So they have created like that. So something some port will be same in the our all the machines. So some company organization defining the some rules and all the industry have to follow the particular rule. So technically when we create the software, so we define our rule in the form of the interface. So defining the rule means what? Our method name. So in the method we uh, write our behavior. So any company are creating their software, so they have to implement this rule. So you will see we are having one car specification and all the company. So we will implement this method. So just putting our Honda, we are having 4 gears. So we are just implementing one method. So we are putting our four and we are putting our speed. So we are implementing speed maximum speed 140 kilometer per hours. So you are defining some implementation. So we are having 4 gear under different company. We are having different implementation. So we have to write our gear related logic. So maximum, minimum, our speed. So our different car company. So different speed will be there. We are thinking like that where we think in the real time application. So so this kind of things will be you will see in the application level. So our different company is having different speed, maximum speed. So they have implemented lot of logic we can write. So this will be supported 4 gears. Our BMW will be supported 5 gears. So this is our specification we have defined under the our interface. So if I want to get the information of the any car, so what will I do? So first we will create implement. We will get information. I am just writing one class, our test class. So under the test we are having our public static void main where our method will be called by JVM. So left side we have to taking reference variable our car and right side we are taking our object our Honda car object. So this will be created under the left side. So we will call gear method, but our method will be our uh, method will be our interface method. So we will call our interface method. We will call our interface method. So our controller will jump at runtime. So our implementation class will be called. So we are getting this information. So our, you will see our method will be same. So because this particularly method is given by some community. So if some community is defining some specification, so it will be very convenient for the vendors. So you can understand. So this method is common. So just if you look new car company, so it is the things you will think in your mind. So you will search all the gear related information. So you will call this method, all speed related information you will call this method. So with the help of specification, so every vendor, any vendor will think like that. So for every company don't have different method name. All the company are following same rule, so method name will be same. So it is very convenient for us. So all the vendors can do same thing with the help of same method. Just we will get specification different. So all the car company having some different specification. It is having one some return type, so we have to put under the our SOP statement. So I will execute this program, so you will see. So all the companies, so they are having our Honda company, we are having 4 gears. We are having 4 gears, maximum speed 140 km per hour, 120 km per hour, 160 per hour. So we are calling same method. So for example, if you are looking our cardekho.com and you want to get some information, so under the information things will be same. So they have first they have defined some interface at backend level. So we want to write multiple name, method name, attribute name. So first we create the some specification, some contract, then we have to be implemented. So name will be same over the interface, and we have to implement. So interface is providing the specification, and vendors have to be implemented. So I will explain this thing under the our JDBC. It is a very important. Under the JDBC always we call method interface method. 95% method we will call interface level method. But our controller will jump to the our vendor class implementation. So we use always method, we call the method of the our interface. Speed method is interface method, but our controller will jump implementation, so it is called dynamic binding. So with the help of interface, we will we provide some specification or contract, and we are having oops feature, abstraction, polymorphism, inheritance, encapsulation. So we get abstraction part of the with the help of our interface. So in the interview, they can ask you how you achieve abstraction in your class. So we have to tell, we have defined some interface. We have written a lot of interface in our application. So we have provided our abstraction. So abstraction means what? We have to hide implementation. Just we have to show necessary information. So what is the logic we are hiding? What is the gear logic? What is the speed? We are hiding the implementation. We are just providing the specification. So it is called our, it is example of our abstraction. So like our ATM machine. So we are just showing, but what is the going on under the machine? We are hiding our TV remote. We are showing the feature of the our remote anybody can use, but what is the implementation nobody knows. So likewise in our application level, so with the help of interface we are just defining. So whether we will implement it in future, there will be multiple implementation, but just we are defining. So in the application level, when we write any new method, so we have to define this method under the interface, and always we will call our interface method, and our controller will jump at runtime. So controller will make a decision at runtime. It is called dynamic binding. So with the help of interface, we will achieve dynamic binding. So interface purpose is providing the specification. Specification means what? Some rules. So with the we have seen our interface related syntax. So this is our interface related syntax, and it is our actual meaning of the interface. We provide the specification. So with the help of class, we can create the object. So class purpose is creating the object, and object will be communicated. Abstract class purpose, if you want to force for inheritance, but interface purpose for providing the specification, for providing the contract, for providing some rules for our application level, like method name should be same. This method name we have to use in our implementation, we can't change. So I want to impose something, our method name we have to use, nobody can change. So we have to write interface, and we have to provide this interface, and we have to tell implement this interface and write your business logic. You can't change your method name. So over the real-time application, lot of software, our community are defining some rule in the form of the interface, and just we have to implement those particular method, and we have to work. We cannot put our name, we have to use a particular name only. So we will provide with the help of interface. So this is the thing about the interface, and we will see with the help of our with the help of in our oops principle. So our upcoming topic will come our oops principle. So we will look one more thing about enum. So with the help of enum, we can put some constant value. So enum is a one special keyword we can say. So with the help of enum, we can put some constant. Enum mean enumeration. So with the help of enum, we can create a constant. So just we quickly see the syntax. So in the application level, we use a multiple constant value, like Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, or January, February, March. So in this case we have to use enumeration, we called enum. So this is our fixed value. So actually we can define multiple public static final class. So instead of writing big syntax, we use this keyword directly, enum. So Monday, Tuesday. So we can define this enum. So whenever so I can create this is my enum. So all the constant will be there. So if we are using our Friday, so Friday will be there. So enum is a one special keyword where we define the constant like that. So we will take uh, all the particularly enum. So we can apply our for loop. So we can see all the constant. So so you are providing the values. So we will get all the our enum in the form of the array. So enum we use for providing some fixed value. So lot of constant will be there at our application level. So we can use enum and we provide some number, some value for enum so that we can access with the help of number. So just we quickly see how we can provide the number. So it is our first so we have to take one variable like that int x. So we will define one constructor. So some value will be assigned. So we can get a particular enum with the help of a number. So this is a syntax we have to use as it is so that we can get the a particular enum value. So just providing the constant we use this particularly syntax. So what we can do? we are just writing other for loop. So we have written this get method. So get, with the help of get method, we will get the values, and we will get the our number. So just we write our for loop day. Syntax will be fixed. It is just for getting the our constant value. So this is our number. So whenever we want to get, so we can get with the help of number. So we can provide a number as well. So with the help of number, we can define this particularly constant value. So same thing, just it is just for defining the constant value. So we can write same thing under the our interface, because under the interface all value is constant and we can access anywhere. So just for defining the constant, they have given the concept of enum. So anywhere, if you want to get a constant, so just we have to call the this syntax. So we will get the our particular constant value. So just we have to use, and we have to use the constant value. So whenever we will create the some mini project, so I will write some enum, some constant class. So I will explain. So enum for defining the constant, and our interface for giving the specification, and our class for defining the our business logic. So keep your mind this thing. So class, abstract class interface, we have to define under the our source file, and our source file dot class file will be generated, and JVM will execute, and everything like class interface enum is meaningful purpose. So with the help of classes, we can define our business logic. With the help of abstract class, our class will be we have to force for inheritance. For usability purpose, we use the abstract class, and our interface, we will define some specification, some contract. It is called abstraction. So purpose, every keyword or every concept has meaningfully purpose. So class for defining the business logic, we will create the object. Abstract class, we cannot create object directly, but first we have to perform inheritance, then we can create the object. Our implemented class, our interface, we cannot create the object of interface. First we have to implement. So there are the a lot of vendor, a lot of implementation will be there. They will follow the rule, and we can create the object of our implementation class. So our method name will be same. So we are providing some specification, we are providing some rule. So with the help of interface, we will providing some rules. So uh, there is some specification, we can say, or some definition, some meaningful purpose of our class, abstract class and interface. And one more class we have seen, final class. So final, basically we use our immutability concept. So usually if I want to create immutable class, that time we use the final class. So final will prevent you for inheritance. We cannot perform inheritance. Our class we cannot perform inheritance, just we have to create the object and we have to use the object. And we can create the immutable class. Immutable means not changeable. Anything we are defining under the class. So I don't want to change the data of the class. So in this case, we have to create a mutable object, immutable object. So I will explain this thing, what is a mutable and immutable. So we defining anything, this thing you always see at your application level. You will see class, you will see abstract class, you will see interface, you will see final class. So the purpose of all the concept, so for a business logic object level, we are having the class. Our reusability purpose, performing the inheritance, we are using abstract class. For providing the contract, providing specification, we use interface. And final class will mostly we use immutability at our application level. So immutable means we don't have to change the feature. We have to use as it is the class. We cannot modify with the help of inheritance. So for immutability, we use the final class. There is the purpose. So always at application level in entire life, you will see this concept, and you have to know, you should know the purpose of all the concept. So we can do anything with the help of syntaxes, but every keyword has some meaningful purpose at our application level. So day by day we will mature when we will do our real-time programming. So it is all about our class interface and enums. So tomorrow we will see our oops feature. We will see our oops feature, oops principle. So where we will see our encapsulation, polymorphism, inheritance, abstraction. So with the help of our syntaxes, we have to achieve this principle. So if our programming language follow the object, so it can follow the oops principle, or might not follow the oops principle, all oops principle. But Java programming language is a such kind of programming language that follow all the oops principle, oops feature, usually we say. So how we will follow this principle? With the help of syntaxes. So whatever the syntaxes we have learned so far. So our keyword, variable, class, interface. So we have to achieve this principle. So this principle will say something we will achieve with the help of syntaxes. Polymorphism will say something we will achieve with the our syntaxes, Java related syntaxes. Inheritance related things we will achieve with the help of syntaxes. Already we have seen a lot of things about the inheritance. Our we are communicating the class with the help of easy relationship. So it is the inheritance. So abstraction means we have provided the interface, so it is a abstraction. So we will hide something and we will provide some necessary information. So we have to achieve these things with the help of uh, our syntaxes. So when you will get the knowledge of our oops principle, so you will be open for learning any technology or framework in Java. You can learn a Spring, you can learn a Hibernate, you can learn a Servlet, you can learn a JDBC. So after oops principle, you are able to learn anything because you know what is our Java programming syntax, and you have achieved all this oops concept, so you can learn anything. So after the oops, we will be open for learning anything. We can learn anything because we knew the syntaxes, we knew the object, we knew the class, we knew the interface, and we know about our oops principle, how we are achieving oops principle. So we can learn anything because our technology or framework, ready-made API, ready-made code will be there, just we have to use. So ready-made classes, ready-made interfaces will be there, just we have to use. So for oops concept, we will be aware of the all the syntaxes, so we can learn anything because just we have to use. And one more concept, exception handling. So up to the exception handling, we have to write the syntax. But after the exception handling, we have to just use the API. Like collection is a one API already. Syntaxes is there, just we have to use. Threading is a API already. Syntax is there, just we have to use. So up to exception handling, we have to write each and everything manually, but after exception handling, just we have to use. So in couple of days, we will open for learning Servlet, JDBC, Spring, Hibernate. So we will we can learn fastly, but up to the fundamental, up to the core concept, we have to put much effort. We have to learn each and every syntax, each and every uh, topic carefully, and you have to put some hard work for learning. In the interview, they will check your fundamental knowledge. They will give some syntax, they will give you some test, so you have to write the code. They will check your fundamental knowledge, your syntax knowledge, your logical skill. So how you are proper using operators, loops, control statement, they will check, they will evaluate you. But in the industry, we work over the framework. Framework is a nothing for you if you are strong with your fundamentals. So tomorrow we will look our oops principle. Then we will complete. Then we will go for our exception handling. So we will open for learning anything. So parallelly we can learn our JDBC, our servlet, our Spring framework. So we can learn anything after our oops principle, oops concept. So we will meet tomorrow at same time. So we will meet for our front end programming after 10 minutes. Yeah, thank you. So we will meet after 10 minutes.